Today we have with us Miss Jade Davis, who is the Marketing and Communications Director at Loudoun Hunger Relief, which is a nonprofit organization which helps low-income families, the elderly, the sick, and people with disabilities. Could you please describe in your own words what all Loudoun Hunger Relief does?
So, Loudoun Hunger Relief is the largest food pantry in Northern Virginia. We serve around 850 families a week and we provide emergency groceries. We are a fully stocked market that works just like a grocery store. So, you come on in, you grab a cart. We provide fresh produce, milk, eggs, shelf stable items. And we function as an emergency grocery pantry. We serve 14,000 people in Loudoun County every year.
What drew you personally to this work?
Well, I'm from the South. I grew up in Texas, and in the South, a lot of us believe that food is love. And so when I decided to pursue marketing and nonprofit marketing specifically, I knew that food-based nonprofits was really important. And the work that we do here is something that truly makes a difference. So I was very excited to come on to Loud and Hunger Relief.
Can you please share a moment that really shows why your work matters?
Yeah, I think this kind of work is full of moments. Every single person that walks through this door has a story, and we get to hear a lot of those stories. I spoke to a woman recently who had to use our services. She had never been here before. She had lived her whole life, very financially well off, and she had to come in and get some emergency assistance. And when she kind of got back on her feet, she was able to actually become a donor for us. And it was a really lovely full circle moment for her. And we were just so happy and honored that we could help her when she needed us most.
That's nice. A lot of people think of Loudoun as a wealthy area, but what do they misunderstand about like the hunger here?
So I think a lot of people hear the word wealthy and think that we're a very rich place when there's sort of a difference between being wealthy and having a high household income. We're an area that definitely has a very high household income, but we're also an area that has a very high cost of living. Rent is very expensive here. Groceries are very expensive because of the part of the world that we live in. And a lot of times that eats up a lot of people's paychecks. Folks who are working and have kids, they have to pay for childcare. Um, so a lot of people see this sort of high income and wealth being the same thing when it's really not. Like a lot of those everyday expenses really dig in for a lot of people. There's a foundation called ALICE, which stands for Asset Limited Income Restricted Employed. Those are a lot of the folks that we see at Loud and Hunger. These are people who have full-time jobs, who are working 40 hours a week. They make a salary. But the cost of living is just so high here that sometimes you have to choose between paying your rent and buying groceries. And that's a lot of the folks that we see here.
Who is most impacted by food insecurity in this community?
Like I said about the Alice population, a lot of folks are a huge misconception about food pantries is that, the folks that come here are unemployed and they're not working. And while we do see some of those people, and just because someone isn't working doesn't mean they don't deserve to eat, a lot of the folks that come into Loud and Hunger have full-time jobs and they're just not making enough to afford the cost of living here in Loudoun County.
So you would say it's pretty expensive living here.
It's one of the most expensive areas to live in the country, for sure.
Yeah, it must be hard for them to decide like whether they want to pay the bills or pay for grocery, because sales tax is also expensive here. It's also a lot. What does a typical day look like at Loudon Hunger Relief?
So we are in service 6 days a week here at Loud and Hunger across two pantries. We have one pantry here in Leesburg and one in Sterling that's opened on Mondays. Every day we get new food that comes into the pantry. A lot of the food that we get here comes from grocery store recovery. And our trucks come in with all this new food and we fill up the market. It gets completely full with the help of dozens and dozens of volunteers and staff. And we open our doors. We're an appointment-based service here, so people who have an appointment will come in and they'll check in at our front desk. They'll be able to shop the market and get what they need. We're also a community services center. So we have several other nonprofits that are also in our building, like Crossroads Jobs, Loudoun Literacy Council, Loudoun Volunteer Caregivers. So the people who come in to shop our pantry also have the opportunity to get other services. And I suppose at the end of the day, we pack it all up and we get ready for the next day and we head home.
Where does the food usually come from?
So I would say close to about 75% of it comes from grocery store recovery. So as grocery stores are kind of cleaning off their shelves, they donate a lot of food to us, and we're incredibly grateful to work with dozens of local grocery stores here. We also get a lot of food drives. I'm sure that you've seen at a local grocery store or at your school or anywhere else, you'll see a box for Loudoun Hunger Relief. Food drives and individual donations run about 12-ish% of what we take in. And then we also do purchase a little bit of the food here. It's very important that we have well-balanced, nutritionally and culturally appropriate food here. So anytime that we need to kind of pick up the slack with halal meats or eggs and milk, we will purchase that ourselves.
How do you make sure that people receive healthy food?
We're really fortunate to have the grocery partners and the farm partners that we work with that often provide us bountiful produce. Fruits and veggies are really important here. A lot of people think that when you come to a food pantry, it's all going to be canned food and it's going to be, boxes of cereal and things that you'd find in your cupboard. But it's very important to us that the people that we serve receive nutritionally balanced food. So we work with several farms and grocery stores like JK Community Farm and PEC, Piedmont Environmental Council, who provide us with, we distributed 850,000 pounds of fresh produce to our neighbors last year. So it's incredibly important to us.
So you guys mostly partner with farms and like local grocery stores?
Mm-hmm.
What roles do the volunteers play in order to keep things running?
Volunteers are everything here at Loudoun Hunger Relief. There we have 22 members of staff and we have 350 volunteers. They give us 14,000 hours. That's 7.5, give or take, full-time employees worth of work. Some of them have been here as long as we have been around, which is 35 years. And these folks, they do everything. They answer phones, they pick stuff up from the grocery stores, they drive the trucks, they run the mobile market. Our volunteers are some of the best people I've ever met in my life. They are truly the heart and soul of this organization.
What's your favorite part about being in Loudoun Hunger Relief?
We have such a wonderful group of people here. The staff and the volunteers, everyone here truly cares about the folks that we're serving. And because of that, we have some wonderful rapport with the people that we serve. And so seeing folks and being able to talk to them and hearing their stories is such a wonderful way to gain perspective and know that the work that you put in, sometimes we're working 12-hour days. It's important because these people are our neighbors. They're not people that we don't know. They live down the street from us. And so we get to lend a helping hand to someone who needs it.
How does having reliable access to food change someone's life?
I mean, for me personally, when I am hungry, everything else suffers. You know, I if I haven't eaten in a while, I get, it's very hard for me to concentrate, which can really bleed into the rest of your day. The foundation of a good day is being well fed. And here at LHR we believe that everybody deserves that in order to have the best day that they can.
What's the hardest part of doing this work that people don't see?
I would say the holidays, honestly, and for an interesting reason. A lot of people really want to they get this wonderful feeling of graciousness at the holidays. Everybody wants to volunteer, everyone wants to donate, everyone wants to run food drives. So that means we are in high gear from October to January. It is a huge working round the clock time.
So it's like very packed around holiday season.
Insanely packed.
So the demand goes higher for like food,
Honestly,
especially.
the it's not really the demand that kicks up. Hunger is something that happens year round. I think a lot of people just we get this urge and this really nice feeling, which is a great thing, um, to want to help around the holidays, and so it brings in a lot more food and a lot more things that come to us that makes us quite busy around here.
Um, how has the need for services changed over the past few years?
It has gone up for sure. Loudoun Hunger Relief has been around for 35 years. We opened in 1991. Um, but just since pre-COVID, our numbers have gone up some odd 300%. You know, um, every year we see an increase in need, and we're working very hard with our community to make sure that we continue to meet that need.
What impact are you most proud of as an organization?
You know, we have been around, like I said, for 35 years. And in that time, we have never turned someone away. Here at LHR, we believe that food is a right, and we are never going to have someone come to us and ask for food, regardless of their situation, and not give it to them, even if they don't live here. One of the only requirements we have for services here at LHR is that you live in Loudoun County. Even if you come to us and say, "Hey, I'm here in Loudoun County, but I live in Maryland. Can you help me?" We will absolutely still help you, and you will leave here with some food and with resources where you live to get what you need.
What keeps you and your team motivated even when it gets tough?
The people we serve, for sure. We see these people every day, and being able to put a smile on their face at the end of the day makes anything worth it.
What's the most helpful thing someone listening could do right now?
Right now, advocating for hunger relief in the area, and if you are able, monetary donations are really wonderful. Something a lot of people don't know is that when you are a food pantry and you work with larger food bank structures, you have the ability, we as a food pantry have the ability to make our money go a little bit further than if we were to just get a food donation. Um, so something like $10 at a grocery store can go a lot further with the connections that we have than if you were to just go out and purchase something and donate it. Following us and following Blue Ridge Area Food Bank, our food bank partner, on social media is great, and just continuing to advocate and letting people know that hunger exists in this area and everyone deserves to eat. Um, and keeping up with us as we continue to feed Loudoun County. Sorry, could you say that one more time?
What long-term goals do you have for reducing hunger in Loudoun County?
So we just plan to continue to feed people, and we just opened a new pantry in Sterling in order to make our services a lot more accessible to folks. So our goal is to just be that safety net and that helping hand if someone needs us.
How can the broader community help raise awareness about hunger issues?
Keeping up with us and Blue Ridge Area Food Bank on social media is a great way to start. You can learn more about hunger in our area on our website as well, loudonhunger.org. Um, and just keeping it on top of your mind. You go to the grocery store, maybe we buy an extra loaf of bread and we donate it to our local food pantry. It's little things like that that help keep our neighbors above water.
How can local businesses, schools, and communities best support your mission?
We're always looking for donations and volunteers. So head over to our website at loudonhunger.org and run a food drive. Help us share a post that we make or come in and volunteer. We are so thankful for the support that has come to us from our community over the past 35 years.
What is the best way for someone to start supporting or partnering with your organization?
There's lots of ways to learn. We kind of have our monetary donations, our food donations, and our volunteering. So the very first place to start would be to head over to our website and see which works best for you. We're so thankful for any hand that we can get from the community.
Is there a misconception about food banks or food assistance you wish people understood?
You know, I we like to remind folks that the people who come to a food pantry are not, this stranger that you've never met before. Um, we learned a little bit about Alice statistics earlier. Um, these people are our neighbors. They're our kids' friends who we go to PTO meetings with. They are, the lady that you bump into at the grocery store. These are folks that you have interacted with. And so hunger is not this thing that is kind of outside of us. It is all around us.
What educational resources or programs do you offer to help individuals and families with budgeting, nutrition, or meal planning?
So one of the nonprofits that is co-located with us is the Loudoun Cooperative Extension, which works very hard to provide extra assistance. They come in and do recipe demos. They do healthy food demos, and they are always co-located with us to provide that extra help.
Oh,
Our biggest, most needed item right now is going to be condiments and spices. A lot of people, you think about the big things when you want to donate to a food pantry. You'll buy the cereal, you'll buy the canned vegetables. But the biggest thing that people are asking for right now are sauces and spices, like salt and pepper and mustard and ketchup.
what has this work taught you about people that you didn't understand before?
I think everybody just wants to feel heard. Everyone wants to feel seen and supported, and that is huge to a lot of folks. And I like to think here at LHR we are here to see and help those folks.
What foods are the hardest to keep stocked?
Definitely condiments and spices for sure. Um, Cereals, some of these cultural foods that people really love. Um, We do a weekly What We Need Wednesday on our social media where you can find our most needed item that week. Um, for the past couple of weeks, it has been condiments and spices for sure.
What happens to donated food before it reaches families?
So it comes into us through our warehouse and it is sorted and then it is put on the shelves. Um, it does not have a very long life before it goes out to the public. Thankfully, we have a really dedicated and amazing staff in the warehouse. So basically it is comes in, it's weighed, it's sorted, and then it's out to our pantry.
Ha
Difference. We've had hundreds of food drives in the past few years that bring in thousands and thousands of pounds per school or group. Um, it.
what role do you think younger generations will play in this issue?
I think the younger generation is doing a great job of advocating. You are using your voices to amplify your messages, and that's what we need. But there's a lot of stigma around needing help in any form. We moved in 2025, we moved 2.7 million pounds of food that went out to 14,000 people. Um, it is a constant influx here.
So you guys use warehouses to keep all your like food before it comes to the shelter?
Correct. So we have two pantry locations, and both of them have a warehouse. Um, in the back of them, they're on the same location, and it is very meticulously weighed and stored back there before it is moved into the pantry.
What's your favorite part of like helping out people? Like what makes you feel the most proud?
Seeing a full grocery cart and being able to think about all of the things that they're going to make.
How do you create an environment where people feel respected and not judged?
The mutual respect is really important. And anytime we have someone come in, whether they be a staff or a volunteer, they bring that sunshine in with them every day.
How do you support and retain staff and volunteers during high demand periods?
Our
How does Loudoun Hunger Relief identify and reach people who may be insecure but not currently accessing services?
So through several networks, we partner with several other nonprofit organizations that refer folks to us, um, as well as Loudoun Feeds, which is a local sort of a directory for food assistance organizations. Um, and typically we receive applications through our website. Um, that was something that was very important to us, was making sure that we are as accessible as possible to anyone who is Googling I need food. We will pop up and we will help you.
Are there any upcoming fundraising events or initiatives that people should be aware about?
Keep an eye on social media. It is our 35th anniversary this year, so hopefully soon in the next couple of months, we will be able to give you more information on some exciting things we have planned.
Who all do you partner with?
Oh goodness, I couldn't name them all in one go, but we partner with the Loudoun Education Foundation, our folks that are here on site, volunteer caregivers. Um, we work very closely with the schools to ensure that they're taken care of. If there's a nonprofit in Loudoun County, we've probably shaken their hands.
Thank you so much for listening today. A big thank you to Loudoun Hunger Relief for the incredible work they're doing to support families in our community. This conversation moves you. The best thing you can do is get involved, whether that's donating, volunteering, or simply spreading the word. Small actions really do make a big difference. Check them out to learn more, and we'll see you next time.